You know, Make in India, Skill India, these are the things which are also available in the website. So, in Make in India, what we are expecting that the contribution of manufacturing sectors to Indian GDP by 25% as opposed presently what speakers have said, 17% as of now. I am quoting Krishnamurthy in 2015 have said about. It also hopes to train about 400 million, that is 40 crores of people in last 10 years. So what has happened from 2012 till now, the first phase target what Indian government is talking about, they have targeted about 2.4 million, and in the first phase they have been able to skill about 1.97 million people. Rika Bhattacharya's project is talking about it. In India, only 4.69% of the total workforce has undergone formal skill training. What a tragedy. Everybody must be training, but the formal trainings are not in place in most of the companies, irrespective of whether they have a full-fledged training institute or whatever, but this is the comparison. If you compare with other countries, it is more than 50%. Anyway, here is an interesting slide, may not be visible. What I am trying to say here is that by 2022, we would be requiring about 120.79 million jobs, and that is where we are seeing, my arrow talks about in agriculture sector, there is going to be a reduction. From 240, it is going to come up as 215. That means about 25 million people are migrating from agriculture to cities for looking for jobs. Here is another irony, why I have just pointed out here. If I have to pay, when they are coming out, they prefer to again work maybe in service sector or in a blue collar job that is available in the factory. When we are looking at them, if 10,000 is paid to the BPO, even if you pay 15,000 in your shop floor work, the human tendency is that in a service sector, if I have to work on a BPO, I will rather merrily work at 10,000 rather than working in 15,000 in shop floor. That is what is another scenario that is also happening in our country. People require dignity. It's not that dignity is not available in the shop floor, but the word of mouth goes also that people are not well placed in the blue sector work, blue collared work in the shop floor. Neither they are also trained to accomplish that job. Yeah. Now, a lot of things may come up. Digitization, automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, all these are going to do what? Are going to take away the jobs that are being done by human being. I have just attended a seminar of Great Place to Work. Somewhere we have come up that digitization, jobs that will go, what is the coefficient for this? You will see that these are the jobs, may not be very pertinent to your manufacturing, but these are the things which will go. You would be seeing cricket match, you know, the umpire's job is already gone, isn't it? So you will see this, the coefficient of, correlation coefficient is very, very high, whereas these jobs will get out. I have taken out another Business Insider information. These are the 20 jobs that robots are most likely to take over. You are the manufacturing experts, you may be knowing more than us. But these are the jobs that will also go out. Jobs, definitely you would be looking at what are the jobs that are going to stay. The coefficient is very, very minor. you see, like me, the HR managers are going to be there. You see that the CEOs, if you want to be a CEO, then CEO jobs will be there. Okay, the social sector works are also improving, and you will see that a lot of doctors, surgeons, they will be there because of our ill health, because of our agonies and all that. And you would have heard a lot of such snippets earlier, BBC talking, CNN talking, so many jobs world across has been taken out by robotics. Days are not much that robotics, here also in India, robots are also working along with the side-by-side human beings. So, I'll just pass on because of the time constraints. Some data Ashokam has said about. Manufacturing sector records 28.5% growth in employment generation during the 11th plan period, that is 2007 to 12. So what we are expecting, 2.9 million additional jobs were created in the manufacturing sector, which has come up in the 2014. That here also you see different states have different sort of pie for their thing. Here Tamil Nadu tops the chart with 14.5 of total job. But the irony is here that with improved economic performance also, that the sector has not helped generating more of jobs. Some more data over the last 3 decades. Whatever has come up in the manufacturing, what we are talking about, it has also not given the same pie, but it varied from 3% to 32% across different states. What are those competitiveness? The age-old policies of industrial protectionism, what had been prevalent in India in the manufacture, because it had never been challenged. Manufacturers have never had to face true competition. Now that you are seeing, earlier speakers have said that all the China products are also coming. Wherever you go, you see this. Because we have never been challenged by outsiders. When we have challenged, suddenly we have woken up. What to do? That's a human tendency, and need to be aware of it. And we are always saying, no, if people have come from FIMI and all, in my organization I will say that they are so keen to work here, they produce more, they have 4 to 5 times of the productivity. But why have our people have said that no, we will not produce? No, it is only lies in our mindset, because we do not train them. We do not acclimatize them into the way that we need to see our future. I'll give a small story in my own company here in Tata Raishan. Mr. Gupta is here, he will also remember. All the people that we have taken from TRF, beyond that, we have not taken a single soul from outside. It is only the internal people who have been grown for all our locations. How it is possible? Because in ITI you do not get slitting operation or slitting education or cut to length operation. It has to be taught in the on the job itself. And that is where we have created a policy to train them internally and take them to permanent role from the contract pool, which is working very well. And since 2004, in last 12 years, we have expanded from 3 locations to 8 locations, and everywhere we have not felt that there is a need which has to be filled up from outside. It has been trained internally. That is where we have to create certain ambience within ourselves to see that people are coming back to you. With respect to job creation, I would say that more of entrepreneurship will bring in lot of jobs for others. But whereas, why people are not inclined to get into lot of entrepreneurship is only because they are expecting that there are lot of risk involved. There is no financial stability. That is where government has come up with lot of entrepreneurship financing schemes and all that. And even we could also see that even from IITs and IIMs, about more than 50% of the people would be looking for getting into entrepreneurship than for employment. Because of people who have come out of agriculture to work, why it has happened? Because of the financial thing, because of the drought, natural calamity, they could not cultivate or earn the profit or the margin to have their livelihood. That is where they are leaving the land and coming out to looking for opportunity elsewhere. Here, in order to see that people are made skilled, while government is also taking a lot of initiatives through Make in India initiatives, we as employers need to give them dignity. We need to give them also the trust. Yes, I am trusting you. You will be the person, right person to get trained. How as organization we need to ensure that the skills are imparted to the way it is required to be there so far as the SOP is concerned is very, very important. The mindset of working class need to be changed. If we are not changing those mindset, then things are not going to be better off. Many a times, if you would have, as organization, if people have gone for a different strategy outside their job, studies say that people have produced better. You will also see that, I will take 1 minute to complete. We will also see that in C-shift, the productivity level of the people goes very, very high. That is where we need to see that how we are in a position to believe them, how we are in a position to give them the trust and the dignity that they are expecting from us, and government and we have to also change our aspects in the learning system. I have come up, the foundation of all this skill is education, and without education we do not think whatever the government is talking or expecting as management to do will not be able to be accomplished. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak about. So nice of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Sahu, for sharing your ideas on India. Most of us might have heard about Industry 4.0 and have a general idea about it as the current trend of automation and data exchange in manufacturing technologies, but very few of us are having in-depth knowledge about it. We have with us Ms. Kasturi Bhattacharjee, Senior Director and Head IoT and Industry, Ericsson Global India Limited. May I request Bhattacharya ma'am to come and take over. Please come.
So while the gentleman is setting up, by my own admission, let me tell you, I'm probably the only person in this room that is not related to the manufacturing industry at all. I come from the computing industry, and I think you're going to hate me when I say this, that we are the people that is actually taking away the jobs, unfortunately, but that's the trend. So we are building all the things that we spoke about. Rather, I wouldn't say we, my company is one of them. All the Googles, Microsoft, Amazons, Oracles, SAPs, somebody spoke about HANA, Ericsson. So all of these companies, they are today coming up with technologies that are automating manufacturing processes, construction. Yes, thank you. Is this all the way in? Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to speak a little bit about those kinds of technology. So nothing to do with manufacturing technology per se, but the digital technology in terms of human-machine interfaces, human physical cyberspace interfaces, and what and how disruptive and transformative it is in the manufacturing, construction, all the industries that we have in terms of control systems, cognitive learning, and things like that. So Industry 4.0. Basically, what is Industry 4.0? It's nothing but, it's called the fourth revolution of the industry, which is previously we had many shifts in terms of mechanical, engineering, IT. Today, Industry 4.0 is more on the cyber-physical, and why we say cyber-physical is where, physical elements are brought into the cyber world, and so embedding intelligence within machines or having remote control of those machines and let them run on its own, increasing efficiency, production, prototyping, supply chain. So the impact of that is what is being termed as Industry 4.0. So why the changes? Earlier we used to have vertical silos, then discrete manufacturing, and just machine-to-machine interfaces, which we called IT systems. So something like, say, SAP in your production, or an Oracle as an HRMS, or supply chain, so things like that. Where are we moving? We are moving into an integrated world, a world which is on the cloud. We are automating, and I have lots of videos as well as views where you can see it, what's happening, and optimized, which means we are crunching downtime, we are increasing productivity, we are bringing in efficiency and automating that entire process. So again, this is, I don't know whether you can see the screen, but it's slightly, so if you again look at the right-hand side of the picture, it says that there was machine-to-machine interfaces, some amount of digitization, some controls. Today, everything is being controlled by automation and services in a private cloud, where many industries or many silos are probably using the same solution in a more efficient manner through virtual and remote services. And so what is happening? There is a horizontal integration happening around, company production lines. There is a vertical integration happening around business processes. And there are integrated life cycles where, predictive logic is kind of telling you, depending on demand or supply and things like that, how long do you need to run a particular product? So then you are not storing inventory and things like that. And of course, sensors and device connectivity. So these are what is the tectonic shifts that are happening in order to, make it happen. Where are we here in this? So today we have a fair bit of connectivity. We have intranet inside factories and manufacturing units or construction, and then we have some amount of data connectivity, wireless connectivities and things like that. We have some bit of sensors, RFIDs and GSM chips and things like that. And then we have an IT infrastructure. Where is it going? In fact, it has gone. So we are exactly now at that phase of where we are actually moving into that middle phase, where there is analytics being used in production, where there are platforms in cloud. You've heard about Amazon Web Services and things like that, Microsoft Azure and stuff like that. Security, and at a level where data connectivity is becoming more and more and more reliable, scalable, and with majority of bandwidth. But where we are actually going is towards complete automation. Robotics, virtual reality, deep learning, 3D printing, not really the 3D printing that we have today, but more sophisticated way of 3D printing. So that is where we are going. I spoke about where, I kind of defined what is it. So how is it happening? It's happening because of the confluence of, there are sensors, there are little devices that are capable of picking data, picking any kind of, whether it's environment data, whether it's a mechanical data or electrical pulse or anything. It's capable of picking it up from, and it can be from a small micro to a major product. And then there are connectivities that is taking, and there are connectivities that takes it to the back end, and there at the back end there is systems being developed which is able to digitally process that information and also enhance it into a control level. The critical drivers, and you're going to be probably hearing a lot about these buzzwords very soon. One is industrial IoT. Industrial IoT means Internet of Things. Autonomous robotics, augmented reality, connectivity and cloud, additive manufacturing, and of course analytics and artificial intelligence, deep learning, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, let me go back. Again, don't want to, the paucity of time, I have defined what each of these actually mean in a physical sense or in a metaphysical sense. I'll move on, and I have kind of explained it a little bit, what is cognitive, I'll get to the cognitive computing part. What is IoT? IoT is nothing but it's Internet of Things. In very simple words, the word IoT means Internet of Things. But essentially, what does it mean? Essentially, what it means is if you put on a sensor on anything, even on a small part of a large machine, and you are able to remotely, wherever you are, you don't have to be physically present, even near, geographically, physically present near that object or that sensor, you are able to pick up the information and drive that and also instruct into that chipset. And when you have many such sensors, millions and billions of such sensors, at the end of the day you're creating a mesh. You're creating a mesh of information that is flowing between millions of devices that are connected from the land to the sea to the factory to the consumer, all the way. So basically you're actually creating an Internet of Things through that. So the overarching in all of this is IoT. And IoT can be used, and there are different sorts. So it can be used for massive monitoring, for asset management and tracing, for remote operations and controls, infrastructure monitoring. I mean, it's limitless basically. As long as you can put a sensor on something, you can build an IoT system around it. Again, moving on, what is advanced robotics or bots, they are called very fancily. You know, in movies and stuff, we see this guy where, you know, we are used to seeing robots as people and things like that, but essentially that's not what it is. Robots is just many mechanical parts with computing inside, and it can essentially looks like, so that's a Mars rover. On that side, that's truly a Mars rover. NASA actually took it to Mars, and they are studying the surface of the Mars. So that's actually how a robot looks, and it can look very differently for different things. So robot actually doesn't look like a human. What does so essentially every manufacturer or any construction company has the potential. If you have a process, if you have a production environment, you have the ability to make it robotic. So basically you need a sensor, a machine at the back end, and digitizations and software in order to be able to control that sensor through that machine. So that's all what robotics is. And again, I'm not going into each one of the points of where in the value chain, that is for any industry to define, where in the value chain robotics can be applied. It can be applied anywhere. I'll just show you a short video. And that's it. Here because we are running out of time. That's the Mercedes plant in Germany. There's not a single human there. Not one. Not one. And if I play the video till the end, you'll see the entire card not only coming out, it is being polished, it is being readied and quality checked, and it's being loaded also into the dock through the robotics. So unfortunately, that is where things are going. That is a live plant. And go to YouTube, and I have given all the links in here. You can see hundreds of videos of plants where it is fully automated. Be it Siemens, be it Mercedes, be it Volvo, they are all big time into robotic automation. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I can play the video if you like furthermore, but I think you get the idea. Now I'm coming to a little, if I've not scared you enough, then let me add a little more to it. So virtual reality. What is virtual reality? Actually, you can't see it. This picture on that side, all the pictures rather, and you see this woman with the finger like that. The car is nowhere near her. The car, she might be probably standing in California, and the car is probably in Germany. And she is building prototypes, standing there with her finger.